Oh, oh, gotta stretch. You gotta stretch. Oh, man. All right. So a system administrator completes a file transfer by negotiating a tunnel before the exchange of any commands. Evaluate the file transfer protocols to conclude which protocol the admin used. Select all that apply. FTPS, FTPES. Okay. File transfer protocol over SSL. FTPS implicitly negotiates a secure sockets layer, transport layer security tunnel before the exchange of any file transfer protocol occurs. Exchange of any file transfer protocol commands. This mode uses the secure port 990 for the control connection. Explicit FTP file transfer protocol over SSL FTPES uses the auth TLS command to upgrade transfer layer security command to upgrade an unsecured connection established over port 21 to a secure one. This negotiates a secure sockets layer, transport layer, security tunnels explicitly and is preferred over FTPS, file transfer protocol over SSL. Secure shell FTP encrypts the authentication and data transfer between the client and server, and a secure link is created between the client and the server using secure shell. Trivial file transfer protocol is a connectionless protocol that provides file transfer services but does not provide guaranteed delivery. Uh-oh, I broke it. Oh, hey, what's up? Hello. Let's see what we got. Oof, that was a lot. 8. Ooh, basically, everything was wrong. Okay. So, network engineers securing communication between two applications on a private network. The applications will communicate using Internet Protocol security. Recommend the setting that will provide IP Internet Protocol header integrity and encrypted data payload. So, AH protocol, transport mode, and ESP protocol. The authentication header, AH protocol, performs a cryptographic hash on the whole packet, including me sharing my screen. Holy cow. Here we go. Let's hide that. I think I fixed it. Let's see. I was like, my head looks really big there. I wonder why. It's because I'm a giant. The authentication header protocol performs a cryptographic hash on the whole packet, including the Internet Protocol header, plus a shared secret key known only to the communicating hosts, and adds this HMAC in its header as an integrity check value. Encapsulation security payload protocol provides confidentiality and or authentication and integrity. It encrypts the data payload. Transport mode secures communications between hosts on a private network. An end-to-end implementation, authentication header, and ESP running encapsulation security payload running transport mode provides confidentiality, integrity, and authentication for internal secure communication. That's really interesting. Tunnel mode is for communications between VPN gateways, virtual private network gateways across an unsecure network. This mode is ideal when securing communication between regional offices over the internet. Next. Oh, it was TCP 53. Management inquired about ways to secure domain name servers. An admin. You know what I'm realizing? I am thirsty and I have no water. I will be right back, guys. Sorry about that. Totally forgot that. So sorry, guys. And you're like, oh, I'm ready to stream. Not. Well, so management inquired about ways to secure the domain name servers, and admin suggests using domain name system security or domain name server security extensions to help mitigate against spoofing and poisoning attacks, which what is ideal for domain name server security extension traffic. It's TCP 53. Domain name server traffic uses port 53. However, given that most domain name server security packets can be larger than 512 bytes, which is a limit for UDP traffic packets, domain name server security uses transfer control protocol port 53. Domain name server queries are communicated through UDP port 53. TCP and UDP port 88 are used by Microsoft's Kerberos. Okay, I was thinking Kerberos on that one. It is an authentication service that is based on a time-sensitive ticket granting system beneficial for single sign-on requirements. UDP port 389 is used by lightweight directory access protocol. It is a network protocol used to access network directory databases, which store information about authorized users and their privileges, as well as other organizational information. Let's see what we got. An authoritative server for a zone creates a resource record set, signed with a zone signing key, analyze domain name system, traits, and functions, and conclude what the scenario demonstrates. DNS security extensions. Okay. Domain name system security extensions help to mitigate against spoofing and poisoning attacks. The authoritative server for the zone creates a package of resource records called an RSET, signed with a private key known as the zone signing key. Domain name system server cache poisoning is a redirection attack that aims to corrupt the records held by the domain name server itself. Domain name server spoofing is an attack that compromises the name resolution process. The attacker may compromise the process of domain name server resolution by replacing the valid IP address for a trusted website. Dynamic host configuration protocol provides an automatic method for network address allocation. Management has set up a feed or subscription service to inform users on regular updates to the network and its various systems and services. The feed is only accessible from the internal network. What else can system administrators do to limit the service to internal networks? They can provision a single sign-on access. Next question. A system administrator completes a file transfer by negotiating a tunnel. Before the exchange of any commands, evaluate the file transfer protocols to conclude which protocol the administrator used, the FTPS and the FTPES. Employees log into their email and the messages download from the server onto the client. The email server does not store the messages. Oh man. Compare the following email protocols and determine which protocol this represents. You know, with secure multipurpose internet mail protocol. Ooh, that's a good one too, though. Simple SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. Submit. Oh, it was secure multipurpose internet mail protocol, wasn't it? Bummer. An authoritative server for a zone creates a resource record set, signed with a zone signing key, analyze domain name system traits and functions, and conclude what the scenario demonstrates. Domain name server security extensions. Next question. Two project managers are on the phone discussing plans for a new site. The call changes over to video as a way for one site manager to show a schematic on a wall, compare types of communication services, and determine which service the project managers are using. HTTPS. Consider principles of web server hardening and determine which actions the system administrator should take when deploying a new server. They should use secure shell for uploading files, use the configuration templates provided, secure a guest account. Next question. A network engineer is securing communications between two applications on a private network. The applications will communicate using Internet Protocol security. Recommend the settings that will provide Internet Protocol header integrity and encrypted data payload. Select all apply. So it was ESP protocol, transport mode, and AH protocol. Next. Management inquired about ways to secure the domain name servers, and admin suggests using domain name server security or domain name server security extensions to help mitigate against spoofing and poisoning attacks. Which port is ideal for domain name server security traffic? It should be TCP 53. Because UDP can only handle it up to 215. All right. So Secure Post Office Protocol version 3. Employees log into their email and the messages download from the server onto the client. The mail server does not store the messages. Compare the following email protocols and determine which protocol this represents. Secure Post Office Protocol version 3. Secure Post Office Protocol version 3 is a mailbox protocol designed to allow mail to be stored on a server and downloaded to the recipient's email client at their convenience. Secure Internet Message Access Protocol version 4, IMAP 4, is designed for dial-up process access. The client contacts the server to download its message, then disconnects. Internet Message Access Protocol supports permanent connections to a server and connecting multiple clients to the same mailbox simultaneously. Messages are stored and organized on the server. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol specifies how mail is delivered from one system to another. In secure multipurpose internet mail extensions, the user is issued a digital certificate containing a public key that is signed by a certificate authority to establish validity. All right, employees log into their email and the messages download from the server onto the client. The mail server does not store the messages. Compare the following email protocols and determine which protocol this represents. Secure Post Office Protocol version 3. A system administrator completes a file transfer secured by encrypting the authentication and data between client and server over TCP port 22. Evaluate the file transfer protocols and determine which protocol the administrator used. Yes. The server administrator should use which protocol to secure user communication with web services? Two project managers are on the phone discussing plans for a new site. The call changes over to video as a way for one site manager to show a schematic on a wall, compare types of communication services, and determine which service the project managers are using. HTTPS. Next question. Management inquired about ways to secure the domain name servers, and then admin using domain name server security or domain name server security extensions to help mitigate against spoofing, poisoning attacks. Which port is ideal for domain name server security traffic? That's TCP 53. A system administrator completes a file transfer by negotiating a tunnel before the exchange of any commands. Evaluate the file transfer protocols to conclude which protocol the admin used. FTPS, FTPES. Administrator in Exchange server needs to send digitally signed and encrypted messages. What should the administrator execute? SME. When implementing voice and video teleconferencing solutions, which protocol provides confidentiality for the actual call data? Ooh. That's quality of service. Oof. SRTP. Duh. When implementing voice and video teleconferencing solutions, which protocol provides confidentiality for the actual call data? It is the Secure Real-Time Transport Protocol. Secure Real-Time Transport Protocol encrypts actual real-time data like voice and video, provides confidentiality for the actual call data. Session Initiation Protocol provides session management features between session initiation protocol endpoints and or gateways. Session Initiation Protocol secure provides sleep provides a secure tunnel using transport layer security to authenticate the endpoints and establish a secure exchange of session information. Quality of service provides information about the connection to a quality of service system, which in turn ensures the voice or video communications are free from problems such as drop packets, delay, or jitter. SRTP. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot that one. Employees log into the email and the messages downloaded from the server onto the client. The mail server does not store the messages. Compare the following email protocols and determine which protocol this represents. Represents the Secure Post Office Protocol version 3. An authoritative server for a zone creates a resource record set signed with a zone signing key. Analyze domain name system traits and functions and conclude what the scenario demonstrates. Domain name, server, security extensions. Network engineer is securing communications between two applications on a private network. Applications will communicate using Internet Protocol security. Recommend the settings that will provide IP header, Internet Protocol header integrity, and encrypted data payload. Authorization header protocol, transport mode, and the ESP protocol. Next, when implementing voice and video teleconferencing solution, which protocol provides confidentiality for the actual call data? SRTP. In which of the following cases can transport layer security be used to provide encrypted communication of services? So it's directory services, file transfer in the web. All right. When implementing voice and video teleconferencing solution, which protocol provides confidentiality for the actual call data? SRTP. Submit. Continue. That was rough. Huh? Return. The heck? All right, we're going to, given a scenario, implement host or application security solutions. Employees have the ability to download certain applications onto their workstations to complete work function. CIO installed a reliable method to ensure that no modifications to the application have occurred, or method of validation that the CIO implements. Code signing. Boom. Risk assessment resulted in the discovery that company-owned computers contain unauthorized software. To address the situation, IT implemented a new policy along with which technique to enforce application control. Blacklisting. A tokenization process is a substitute for encryption when securing a database. What does tokenization do in this case? It's tough there. I was like, A new systems use policy dictates that employees assigned a specific computer can no longer roam and use any computer in the building. Furthermore, upon login, the encrypted drive will decrypt with a key stored on the system. The goal of this approach is to improve security and accountability. Which type of hardware security implementation did admin configure? Full data encryption? No. Awkward. A company set up controls to allow only a specific set of software and tools to install on the workstation. A user navigates to a software library to make a selection. What type of method prevents installation of software that is not put in a library? If you want it, it's whitelist. Okay. A security assessor uses a technique to test for vulnerabilities and code quality during the development phase. Which of the following is most likely happening during this phase? Okay. Stress testing. No? Dynamic analysis, maybe? A company replaces outdated workstations to increase storage capacity and provide more enhanced security measures. One of the benefits implements secure booting from startup. Which firmware provides this feature? The UEFI. Developer writes code for a new application, wants to ensure protective countermeasures for structured query, language injection, execute. What secure coding technique will provide this? Code obfuscation. Really? Might be input validation then. A new systems use policy dictates the employees assigned a specific computer can no longer roam and use any computer in the building. Furthermore, upon login, the encrypted drive will decrypt with a key stored on the system. The goal of this approach is to improve security and accountability. Which type of hardware security implementation did admin configure? SED. A self-encrypted drive includes both the hardware and software to encrypt data on a drive. Keys are securely stored within for decryption. Self-encrypting drive requires credentials to be entered for encryption. Full disk encryption provides encryption for a whole disk and protects the confidentiality of the data. Electromagnetic interference are radio frequencies emitted by external sources such as power lines that disturb signals. Electromagnetic interference can be avoided by the use of shielding. Basic input-output system BIOS is a combination of hardware and software used to adjust settings for the computer. A security assessor uses a technique to test for vulnerabilities and code quality during the development phase. Which of the following is most likely happening during this phase? Dynamic analysis. Dynamic analysis inspects code as it is running for code quality and vulnerabilities. Fuzzing is a common technique used. Stress testing attempts to simulate a production environment and focuses on the objective and threshold an application can handle while maintaining performance. A static code analyzer examines code quality and effectiveness without executing the code. An analyzer can be used in conjunction with development for continued code quality checks or once the code is in its finalization stages. Model verification is the process of ensuring software meets its intended purpose and specifications. A developer writes code for a new application, wants to ensure protective countermeasures for structured query language injection, execute. What secure coding technique will provide this? Input validation. Input validation verifies data is valid. Proper input validation uses a set of rules to validate entries in fields for proper use. In the event an entry is invalid, the application will reject the entry. It is a secure coding practice. A dynamic link library injection inserts malicious code by attacking memory in a system and making it run. Code reuse is the practice of using existing code previously developed for a new function in the system. Since the code has been previously built and published, it has also been tested for vulnerability and errors. Code obfuscation is the method of disguising coding methods by way of renaming variables, replacing strings, and hiding comments. During the functional testing phase of application development, an application tests for vulnerabilities against the running code. What type of coding is this? So that's dynamic analysis. Next question. In secure development deployment methodology, which environment most commonly uses code development and testing? A company implements an encryption key burned into the chip of the processor of employee laptops, which provides a hardware root of trust. What did the company employ? Oh no. A security engineer sets up hardware that will automatically encrypt data on the drive. When the user enters credentials, the drive will decrypt with keys stored on the system. Which type of hardware security implementation is this? Self-encrypted drive. Through the use of personal USB drives, company workstations have McAfee's data loss prevention endpoint product installed. Management wants to allow the use of only approved universal serial bus drives. How would admin configure workstations to allow only approved universal serial bus drives? Use the device instance ID. Oh. I don't know yet. All right. Administrator tries to remotely access a virtual Windows 2016 server, but the connection fails. The admin pings the server. There is no packet loss. Regular services such as file shares still work for users, which the volume is most likely causing the connection failures. The firewall? Go with the Windows firewall. Look at that. Field employees at an organization require mobile devices that offer high level security options. IT suggests using laptops that include trusted platform module technology. When using this technology, what does this system provide? Hardware rooted trust. Boom. Along with running the latest operating system, security patches and updates, which of the following tools or applications should any Windows 10 client build include for security threats? Windows Update. Really? Antivirus, I guess. Let's see. Company implements an encryption key burned into the chip of the processor of employee laptops, which provides a hardware root of trust. What did the company employ? A TPM. The Trusted Platform module is a hardware-based encryption solution that is embedded in the system and provides secure key storage for full disk encryption. A Trusted Platform module keeps hard drives locked until proper authentication occurs. A hardware security module is a device used to generate, maintain, and store cryptographic keys. It is an external device and can easily be added to a system. Transport layer security is a security protocol designed to provide communication security over a computer network. A host-based intrusion detection system can detect attacks on a host and detect critical files. Along with running the latest operating system security patches and updates, Which of the following tools or applications should any Windows 10 client build include for security threats? It's antivirus. Antivirus software is the most common tool or application that should be on any standalone or domain client workstation. Its purpose is to detect and remove virus infections, and in most cases, other types of malware such as worms, trojans, adware, etc. BitLocker is Microsoft's full drive encryption technology that is already a part of Windows operating system builds since Windows Vista Enterprise. Windows Update is an included feature on all Windows operating systems. It does not actively seek for threats, but it can update the operating system and other applications to safeguard itself against threats. A hardware security module, like a trusted platform module, is used for encryption solutions such as BitLocker. A user reported the system being taken over for a few minutes remotely before deciding to power off the workstation. After reviewing the network intrusion detection system, during the time of the incident, there was no indication of unauthorized remote connections. What would be the benefit of installing a host intrusion prevention system at the endpoint? Select all apply. Boom. Protection from zero-day attacks and prevent malicious traffic between virtual machines. Next. Test Manager uses automation to generate random input data for security testing. What method is the Test Manager demonstrating? Automation generating input data. I think they're fuzzing, right? Yeah, because they're just putting in random inputs of data. Mm-hmm. Next question. Which of the following represents a secure coding practice that ensures data entered in a system confirms and rejects invalid information? Input validation. A new system's use policy dictates that employees assigned a specific computer can no longer roam and use any computer in the building. Furthermore, upon login, the encrypted drive will decrypt with a key stored on the system. The goal of this approach is to improve security and accountability. What type of hardware security implementation did admin configure? A self-encrypted drive. Next question. Which of the following would secure an endpoint and provide attestation signed by a trusted platform module? A measured boot. Along with running the latest operating system, security patches and updates, which of the following tools or applications should any Windows 10 client build include for security threats? Antivirus. Next question. Which of the following is not a concept in a secure DevOps project? Immutable systems. Well, I was wrong. Company implements an encryption key burned into the chip of the processor of employee laptops, which provides a hardware root of trust. What did the company employ? The trusted platform module. Attestation, really, which the following is not a concept in a secure DevOps project. Attestation. Attestation is similar to the secure boot process by checking files against a remote system. It is not a part of secure DevOps. Continuous integration in a secure DevOps project allows for the merging of code, changes into a central repository. The code is built and tested each time it is checked into the environment, providing a more efficient method to code production. An immutable system is the ability to create a secure image and test it in a controlled DevOps environment. As new code is introduced to an application, security testing is important to check for bugs and vulnerabilities. Automating security testing in a DevOps environment ensures defects are not introduced in systems. A company implements an encryption key burned into the chip of the processor of employee laptops, which provides a hardware root of trust. What did the company employ? Trusted platform module. Which of the following is not a concept in a secure DevOps project? Attestation. Next question. A security assessor uses a technique to test for vulnerabilities in code quality during the development phase. Which of the following is most likely to happen during this phase? Dynamic analysis. Next. Along with running the latest operating system security patches updates, which of the following tools or applications should any Windows 10 client build include for security threats? Antivirus. A developer writes code for a new application, wants to ensure protective countermeasures for structured query language injection and execute. What secure coding technique will provide this? IMPA validation. Which of the following is not a concept in the secure DevOps project? Attestation. Congratulations. Course reports. I've spent so much time on this, holy cow. 9 hours estimated time to completion. Woo! A hacker infiltrated a commercial stock image company and found a file share full of free images that users could download via a web server. The hacker replaced each image with malicious code, hoping the free image will get downloaded onto unsuspecting users' computers, which should finally prevent this attack. Go with file integrity monitoring. Next. Administrator deploys a basic network intrusion detection device to block common patterns of attacks. What detection method does this device use? Behavioral based? No? Is it device to block common? Signature based, maybe? I don't know. A system administrator configures a switch, sending a copy of all the network traffic to an area where admin can analyze it. What should the administrator implement? A port mirror. Boom. Dynamic host configuration protocol. Management hired 20 new people, and the network team set up the network connections in the office to accommodate them. There are 3 dummy client switches with roughly 40 computers connected to the network. The client computers have an internet protocol address using dynamic host configuration protocol. The local dynamic host configuration protocol server and file server are connected to the switches. When trying to access the servers or the internet from the client computers, there's no network connectivity. Some clients have a dynamic host configuration protocol internet protocol address. What may be the cause? No, DHCP is not authorized. Network administrator wants to set up a load balancing cluster to manage traffic to a web server farm. The load balancer will route traffic based on the type of requests coming in from internal users. Design a solution that will provide, at minimum, a failover solution and proper configuration for a load balancing cluster. With enable a scheduling algorithm and set up an active passive topology. No. System administrators want to set up a way for remote administration from home. The solution should use available services like a web browser rather than installing a virtual private network agent. Which option would best support these requirements? HTML5. Boom. A company would like to implement a private network accessible through a portal to communicate and share resources. Authorized users can only access the network. Which of the following is the best choice for implementation? Authorized users can only access the network. Authorized users. Internet. Firewall contains a network intrusion detection system which monitors activity on the network. Devices are placed in front of the firewall, and after the firewall, gather information and report applicable findings to a central console in the NIDS. Identify these devices. Sensors. It was signature based. No. An administrator deploys a basic network intrusion detection device to block common patterns of attacks. What detection method does this device use? Signature based. Signature based or pattern matching detection uses a database of attack patterns or signatures. If traffic matches a pattern, then the engine generates an incident. Anomaly based detection uses an engine that looks for irregularities in the use of protocols. For example, the engine may check packet headers or the exchange of packets in a session against RFC standards and generate an alert if they deviate their strict RFC compliance. Heuristic-based detection learns from experiences to detect differences from the baseline. This type of detection is the same as behavioral-based detection. Okay, so heuristic and behavioral are the same. Behavioral-based or statistically or profile-based detection uses an engine to recognize baseline normal traffic or events. Any deviation from baseline outside a defined level of tolerance generates an incident. Management hired 20 new people, and the network team set up the network connections in the office to accommodate them. There are 3 different client switches with roughly 40 computers connected to the network. Client computers have an internet protocol address using dynamic host configuration protocol. The local dynamic host configuration protocol server and file server connected to the switches. When trying to access the servers or the internet from the client computers, there is no network connectivity. Some clients have a dynamic host control protocol, internet protocol address, what may be the cause? A loop in the network. Switch loop on the network will cause network connections to drop since the packet cannot make the appropriate hop to the next switch and to its final destination. Switching loops also generates broadcast storms. Media access control filters can block data coming from specific media access control addresses to drop. However, dummy client switches were deployed, which normally means no advanced configurations have been made. Port security is an advanced security feature. Dummy switches are basic switches to allow traffic to flow freely. Dynamic host control protocol is working properly since some clients do receive dynamic host configuration protocol, internet protocol addresses. Others have not yet received one because of switch loops. A network administrator wants to set up a load balancing cluster to manage traffic to a web firm server farm. The load balancer will route traffic based on the type of request coming in from internal users. Design a solution that would provide, at minimum, a failover solution and proper configuration for a load balancing cluster. Set up an active passive topology and then create a virtual IP address. An active passive topology will ensure proper failure capability requests will continually flow through one load balancer. The second if the primary fails. Virtual IP address ensures a smooth transition over to the secondary load balancer. If the primary fails, users or other services will only need to know this one destination IP address to reach the web server farm. A scheduling algorithm in the load balancing cluster is ideal if both appliances were in an active configuration. A persistent session would benefit the web server farm and the sessions that connect to a particular service. However, the web server farm may include multiple services that are not necessarily provided across all the other web servers. Administrator deploys a basic network intrusion detection device to block common patterns of attack with detection. Whether does this device use signature based? Next. The network administrator needs to monitor traffic that passes through the firewall. To analyze attacks on the network, which of the following devices will combine multiple sensors to gather data for the analysis? Collector. Cloud engineers are considering network segmentation options that will provide the most security between services on the cloud platform. Which of the following would ensure this type of network security is within the cloud? If administrator decides what traffic should go in the encryption tunnel versus what goes to the unsecured internet, which should be in protocol that the administrator employ. A vendor requires access to company resources to fulfill business requirements with the company it serves. The company provides a zone to keep proprietary information secure, but allows the vendor access to the resources. What type of zone does this vendor use? Because it's two different companies and they have access to each other through a server system. A network administrator separates access to a company's resources based on job function. The administrator groups access allowed to specific information within the network. Which of the following is the best separation method to implement? Okay, so based on job function. Great VLAN. So trying to do other networks. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Network designs show strategically placed firewalls on the local area network. To add layers of network security, the internal cloud stack also provides a layer of firewall security. Which firewall solution would provide immediate protection to a client computer? A hardware firewall. Really? Few virtual machines have a custom application set up for active-active clustering. Each physical node has the appropriate number of network adapters for clustering, as well as service communication to clients. Cisco backs the company's infrastructure and has also made recommendations where you find support these customer services. So set up zero trust and set up efficient east-west traffic. Cloud engineers are considering network segmentation options that will provide the most security between services on the cloud platform. Which of the following would ensure this type of network security is within the cloud? Select will apply. Set up efficient east-west traffic, set up zero trust. East-west traffic describes the network platform configurations that support cloud and other internet services. Oh my god. Oh, so tired. Support cloud and other internet services when most traffic is actually between servers within the data center. Zero Trust uses systems such as continuous authentication and conditional access to mitigate privilege escalation and account compromise. It can use micro-segmentation to apply security policies to a single node like it was in its own zone. A demilitarized zone is usually set up at the perimeters to secure access to and from the data center and cloud environment. This is adequate for north-south traffic. Okay. A bridge protocol data unit guard setting is applied to switches. This causes a port fast configured port that receives a BPDU. So a host-based firewall. Network design shows strategically placed firewalls in the local area network to add layers. Network security and internal cloud stack also provides layer firewall security. What firewall solution would provide immediate protection to a client computer? Host-based firewall. A host-based personal firewall is a software application running on a single host designed to protect that host only. This firewall can run on a server or a client computer. Appliance firewall is a standalone hardware firewall deployed to monitor traffic passing into and out of a network zone. A virtual firewall is a virtual server that runs a firewall application. This type of firewall can provide immediate network protection to other virtual servers in a cloud stack, for example. A hardware firewall, also known as an appliance firewall, provides immediate protection to the network. A hardware firewall can operate a layer 2 bridge or layer 3 routed out of the open system interconnection OSI model, so host-based. So it's VIP and GLEP. All right, I'm going to go run to the restroom real quick, guys. Get some water. I'll be back. Oh, sorry it took so long, guys. I was doing laundry, dishes, all that good stuff. Whew. Oh. All right. Two virtual machines have a custom application set up for active clustering. Each physical node has the appropriate number of network adapters for clustering, as well as service communication to clients. Cisco backs the company's infrastructure and has also made recommendations, which are the following. Will most likely support these customer services. Select all that apply. VIP, GL, BP. What you need to know. Each server node has its own IP address, but externally, a load-balanced server is advertising a virtual IP address. Clients go to an IP address or fully qualified domain name and will be routed accordingly between the servers in the cluster. Gateway Load Balancing Protocol is Cisco's proprietary service to providing a load-balanced service with a VIP. Infrastructure is Cisco-based, so the service will most likely be implemented. Common Access Redundancy Protocol is another commonly used network protocol that works in the same way as GLBP. Oh, because it's Cisco-based. Gotcha. All right. So gateway load balancing. There's another commonly used that works in the same way as GLBP. A fully qualified domain name can have multiple IP Internet Protocol addresses using domain name server records, and name resolution can route sessions. However, only the first record will be active until it is unavailable. Administrator deploys a basic network intrusion detection device to block common patterns of attack. What detection method does this device use? Going to be signature-based. Next, after an in-depth security analysis of recent detection of malware, the security admin found the root cause to be website blogs and online podcasts, which contain several pop-up ads. The information systems security officer wants to deploy a solution that blocks these websites, scan users' web browsing traffic for malware, and block it from entering the intranet, which the following will fulfill the security requirements. Firewall. No. A network administrator sets up a wireless access point in the office. Management wishes to allow access to only certain mobile devices owned by employees. What setting on the wireless access protocol would the network administrator configure? MAC filtering. A VPN connection allows employees to use both physically separated networks anytime they need to. What type of capability does this represent? VPN concentrator. A system administrator needs to hide internal resource private IP addresses from the internet to protect from exploitation. What can an administrator apply to network to complete section? Hide internal resource practices. Filter URLs. Right, okay. Users are reporting jittery video communication during routine video conferences. What can a system administrator implement to improve video quality and overall use of the network bandwidth? No? Okay. What is jump server commonly used for? Provide secure access to DMZ servers. Oof. Two virtual machines have a custom application set up for active clustering. Each physical node has the appropriate number of network adapters for clustering, as well as service communication to client Cisco backs the company's infrastructure and has also made recommendations which the following most likely support these customer services. GL, BP, and VIP. I'm sure. Learn. So is UTM. Okay, after an in-depth security analysis of recent detections of malware, the security admin found the root cause to be website, blogs, and online podcasts, which contain several pop-up ads. The information systems security officer wants to deploy a solution that blocks these websites, scans user web browsing traffic for malware, and blocks it from entering the intranet. Which of the following will fulfill the security requirement, UTM? The Unified Threat Management is an all-in-one security appliance that combines the functions of a firewall, malware scanner, intrusion detector, vulnerability scanner, data loss prevention, content filtering, and many more. The intrusion detection system by itself, out of the box, will be able to notice a user visiting a bad website and may do passive or non-intrusive notification, but nothing active will occur. Firewall is a software or hardware device that protects a system or network by blocking unwanted network traffic. It is not designed to scan for malware. Okay. A data loss prevention system may prevent the removing or sending of protected information, but it cannot scan for malware. Okay. A VPN connection allows employees to use both physically separated networks anytime they need to. What type of capability does this represent? Always on. Always on virtual private networks allow for a continued connection between the geographically separated servers and the employee. Remote access virtual private networks allow an authorized user to connect to an internal network from a remote location. Tunneling protocols encapsulate and encrypt traffic for data protection and integrity. So it looks like the DAV just posted in LinkedIn that they are pushing Congress to lift the funding cap on a popular pilot program focused on technology training for transitioning veterans, saying they expect to use up all available funds by midsummer. And this is the program that I just took, the Vet Tech. So the program, Veteran Employment Through Technology Education Courses, was launched in 2019 as a 5-year pilot program. VA officials said interest in it has exceeded expectations, with more than 13,500 applicants and 3,000 enrolled this year alone. I'm one of those 13,500 applicants. So yeah, if you're in the military and you want to do vet tech, it looks like they're out of funding already by midsummer. They expect to use up all available funds by midsummer, so they're trying to get more people to hop on this. Sorry, I'm trying to. Trying to basically tell people that I enjoyed the program. Unable to post. Why? Oh, shit. Let me try. This is super important. Come on. I'm gonna get funding. So I've already gotten the funding, guys. I've already got the classes paid for and everything like that. But I'm trying to get the funding for other veterans. Okay, so I already shared it. Okay, I'm good. But yeah, I think it's super important for veterans to get the opportunity to try and transition because, I know one buddy, he was in the Army and he was an artilleryman, right? Dealt with ordnance and blew up all kinds of stuff, right? But then he got back into civilian world. Nobody wanted somebody who had the ability to use ordnance, and he worked at CVS Pharmacy. And he felt like he could do more in his life. I feel like cybersecurity gives those who have sacrificed everything at least some kind of redemption quality with training, because I've seen a lot of guys get gypped. So I feel like if our military members had another route to pursue to make more money, why can't we give that to them? So for me, as a previous military member, I appreciate the vet tech program. So I'm not sponsored by vet tech or the VA or uh, this DAV or the government, but I do appreciate the fact that we are given another opportunity to do something besides, well, for me, it's field service engineering. Now, don't get me wrong, I make a lot of money off of field service engineering, but uh, my wife doesn't like it because I'm not home all the time. And I don't know, I kind of like learning new things. So for me, this is interesting because it's a very in-depth computer course that I've never had. Most in-depth computer course I had was like learning how to type on a keyboard. Nothing as far as like commands that you can give to PowerShell, different operating systems, how they function, servers, how they work. Like this is terrifying in the aspect of how much information you have to know. Um, like I feel, as far as like from what I've seen, the amount of information I know currently is about 40% of what I need to know to even come close. But that's why I'm studying a lot. So, all right, let's go back to this. So it's always on virtual private networks allow for a continued connection between the geographically separated servers and the employee. Remote access VPNs allow an authorized user to connect to an internal network from a remote location. Tunneling protocols encapsulate and encrypt traffic for data protection and integrity. A virtual private network concentrator incorporates the most advanced encryption and authentication techniques and includes all of the items necessary to create a VPN. A site-to-site virtual private network connects multiple networks versus one. Remote users can access both locations as if they were on site without noticing the location separation. All right. A system administrator needs to hide internal resource private IP addresses from the internet to protect from exploitation. What can the administrator apply to the network to complete this action? Apply NAT to internet-facing firewall. Network address protocol, NAT, translates public internet protocol addresses to private and vice versa. By using the network addressing protocol, so they did protocol twice. I'm confused. Okay, anyways. On the firewall, a company can hide assets from the public internet. A proxy acts on behalf of another service. A proxy examines the data and makes rule-based decisions about whether the request should be forwarded or refuted. It will not hide IP addresses, internet protocol addresses. URL filtering allows someone to control access to websites by permitting or denying access to specific websites based on information contained in a URL list. A distributed denial of service mitigator is a tool used to decrease or deny distributed denial of service attacks on networks. Users are reporting jittery video communication during routine video conferences. What can a system administrator implement to improve video quality and overall use of the network bandwidth? Use 802.1p header. Switches that support quality of service uses the 802.1p header to prioritize frames. This will improve video conferences and make efficient use of the overall network bandwidth. A web application firewall is designed specifically to protect software running on web servers and their backend databases from code injection and denial of service attacks. Out-of-band management is a means of remote management of a system, a term commonly used when managing network devices. For example, a console connection to a router. Internet protocol security provides both confidentiality by encrypting data packets and let's see. Out-of-band management is a means of remote management of a system, a term commonly used when managing network devices. For example, whoa, wait, what? Whoa, what? Hang on, what? Okay, sorry guys. Somebody's asking about how to apply to it, and I just told them that I did ACI learning. Let's see. Out-of-band management is a means of management of a system, a term commonly used when managing network devices. For example, a console connection to a router. Internet protocol security provides both confidentiality by encrypting data packets and integrity anti-replay by assigning each packet that does overhead to the data communication. So dynamic host configuration protocol management hired 20 new people on the network team, set up the network connections in the office to accommodate them. There are 3 dummy client switches with roughly 40 computers connected to the network. The client computers have an internet protocol address using dynamic host configuration protocol. The local DHCP, the dynamic host configuration protocol server and file server, are connected to the switches. When trying to access the servers or the internet from the client computers, there is no network connectivity. Some clients have a dynamic host configuration protocol, internet protocol address. What may be the cause? A loop in the network. 2 virtual hosts run on a stack, and each host runs a virtual machine. Both virtual machines use shared storage, and an admin must provide stateful fault tolerance. The enterprise service running on these VM virtual machines must work on both virtual hosts and continue working if one of the virtual hosts goes offline. What clusters setup would provide the functionality the organization requires? Ooh. Bummer. An employee plans to travel for work purposes and will require access to the company's website. The site restriction is for employees only and requires a secure means to gain access. The employee will most likely use what? A remote access VPN, I'm sure. Boom. I've done that before. I've used that before in one of my old jobs. System administrator needs to hide internal resource private IP addresses from the internet to protect from exploitation. What can an administrator apply to the network to complete this action? They can apply NAT to the internet-facing firewall. Network administrator wants to set up load balancing clusters and manage traffic to a web server farm. The load balancer will route traffic based on the type of request coming in from internal users. Design a solution that would provide at minimum a failover solution and proper configuration for a load balancing cluster. Okay. Ooh. Create a virtual IP address, set up active passive topology. Administrator navigates the Windows firewall with advanced security. The inbound rules show a custom rule, which assign the action, allow the connection to all programs, all protocols, all ports with a scope of 192.168.0.0/24. This is an example of what type of security set. Access control list. Boom. Users are reporting jittery video communications during routine video conferences. What can a system administrator implement to improve video quality and overall use of the network bandwidth? Use 802.1p header. Organization has a network access control system that assesses the health of network stations and laptops connected to the corporate network. A network admin must add mobile devices to the list of platforms. How will an admin provide health assessments for these new devices? Here we go with perform an agentless health assessment. Let us go learn. 2 virtual hosts run on a stack, and each host runs a virtual machine. Both virtual machines use shared storage, and an admin must provide stateful fault tolerance. The enterprise services running on these virtual machines must work on both virtual hosts and continue working if one of the virtual hosts goes offline. What cluster setup would provide the functionality the organization requires? An active configuration setting consisting of n nodes. An active cluster provides enterprise services to clients from both virtual servers. All services will be transparently transferred to the other server if one virtual host goes offline. An active passive cluster provides enterprise services to clients from only one virtual server. Other server comes online only when the currently active server goes offline. A session affinity setting is used in load balancing scenarios. This is also known as source internet protocol and is a layer 4 approach to handling user sessions. The round robin setting is used in load balancing scenarios. New client sessions are established with the next server in group. Round robin and affinity provide stateless fault tolerance. A company hosts its own web servers. These web servers provide multiple services that employees need while on the road. A recent security audit advised the company to find a more secure way to publish these web services to the internet, which the following will accomplish this. Oh, bummer. Which the following does not describe an application firewall. Oh, bummer. It can be used on the application level. That's right. 2 virtual hosts run on a stack, and each host runs a virtual machine. Both virtual machines use shared storage. An admin must provide stateful fault tolerance. The enterprise service running on these VMs must work on both virtual hosts and continue working if one of the virtual hosts goes offline. What cluster setup would provide the functionality of the organization requires? The active configuration consisting of n nodes. A network engineer is installing a patch panel on the newly renovated floor of a building. Before connecting network cables between the patch panel and the switch, the engineer configures spanning tree protocol. How will spanning tree protocol secure the network? It will prevent broadcast storms. After an in-depth security analysis of recent detections of malware, the security admin found the root cause to be website blogs and online podcasts, which contain several pop-up ads. The information systems security officer wants to deploy a solution that blocks these websites, scans user web browsing traffic for malware, and blocks it from entering the internet, which of the following will fulfill the security requirements. The UTM, because it does everything. A VPN connection allows employees to use both physically separated networks anytime they need to. What type of capability does this represent? Always on. Next. Cloud engineers are considering network segmentation options that will provide the most security between services on the cloud platform. Which of the following would ensure this type of network is within the cloud? Set up zero trust, set up efficient east-west traffic. What can a system administrator configure on 2 load balance servers to ensure each node gets its fair share of work? I'm going to go with configure the scheduling. Company hosts its own web servers. These web servers provide multiple services employees need while on the road. A recent security audit advised the company to find a more secure way to publish these web services to the internet, which the following will accomplish this: reverse proxy. Reverse proxies can publish specific applications from the corporate network to the internet by listening for specific client requests. This will ensure other internet services are not exposed. The data loss prevention system uses algorithms to identify confidential information and prevent such information from leaving company systems. Demilitarized zone is logical or physical separation of the intranet and the internet. The separation is not as granular as a proxy server for web applications. Load balancer will be able to balance the service requests among multiple servers that provide the same service. It does not determine an authorized connection like a proxy server. So application firewall. I just read firewall. It should have been application firewall, so that makes sense. It's not at layer 2, that's at layer 7. All right, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back after these messages. Yes. Sorry about that, guys. Decided to get into some less hot clothes. I just finished that laundry and I was like, oh man, shorts? Oh, please. Thank you very much. Okay, don't care. I still don't care. All right. All right. So application firewalls, layer 7. Okay, so which of the following does not describe an application firewall? It can be included as part of a UTM. It is a deep packet inspection firewall. It installs on servers as an application. It analyzes packets at layer 2. That is incorrect. It's application firewall, not an actual firewall. Doggone it. All right, so a network-based firewall analyzes packets at the layer 2 or data link layer of the OSI, Open Systems Interconnection model. An application firewall analyzes packets at layer 7, or the application layer. An application firewall can be called by a different name, such as application layer, gateway firewall, stateful multi-layer inspection firewall, or deep packet inspection firewall. Most unified threat management systems include an application firewall to provide more complex security. An application firewall is mostly installed on a server as an application. However, it can also run on physical network appliances such as a UTM device. And it's so much cooler now. Holy cow. Freaking burning up. All right. What is this? Cloud engineers are considering network segmentation options that will provide the most security between services on the cloud platform. Which of the following would ensure this type of network security is within the cloud? Select all that apply. Set up zero trust. Set up efficient east-west traffic. Next question. A system administrator needs to hide internal resource private internet protocol addresses from the internet to protect from exploitation. What can the administrator apply to the network to complete this action? Apply NAT to the internet-facing firewall. Management hired 20 new people, and the network team set up the network connections in the office to accommodate them. There are 3 dummy client switches, which with roughly 40 computers connected to the network. Client computers have an internet protocol address using dynamic host configuration protocol. The local dynamic host configuration protocol server and file server are connected to the switches. When trying to access the servers or the internet from the client computers, there is no network connectivity. Some clients have a dynamic host configuration protocol internet protocol address, which may be the cause. So there's a loop in the network. Next question. Which of the following does not describe an application firewall? It analyzes packets at layer 2. Network design shows strategically place firewalls on the local area network to add layers of network security. The internal cloud stack also provides a layer of firewall security. Which firewall solution would provide immediate protection to a client computer? The host-based firewall. After an in-depth security analysis of recent detections of malware, the security admin found the root cause to be website blogs and online podcasts, which contain several pop-up ads. Information system security officer wants to deploy a solution that blocks these websites, scans user web browsing traffic for malware, and blocks it from the entering internet. Which of the following will fulfill the security requirements? The UTM. Good. A company hosts its own web servers. These web servers provide multiple services that employees need. While on the road, a recent security audit advised the company to find a more secure way to publish these services to the internet. Which of the following will accomplish this? Reverse proxy. Users are reporting jittery video communication during routine web conferences. What can a system administrator implement to improve video quality and overall use of the network bandwidth? They can use the 802.1p header. 2 virtual machines have a custom application set up for active-active clustering. Each physical node has the appropriate number of network adapters for clustering, as well as service communication to clients. Cisco backs the company's infrastructure and has also made recommendations. Which of the following will most likely support these customer services? Select all that apply. GLBP and VIP, I am sure. Next question. Which of the following does not describe an application firewall? It analyzes packets at layer 2. Next. A company hosts its own web servers. These web servers provide multiple services that employees need while on the road. A recent security audit advised the company to find a more secure way to publish these web services to the internet. Which of the following will accomplish this? A reverse proxy. VPN connection allows employees to use both physically separated networks at any time they need to. What type of capability does this represent? Always on. Network designs show strategically placed firewalls on the local area network to add layers of network security. The internal cloud stack also provides a layer of firewall security. Which firewall solution would provide immediate protection to a client computer? Host-based firewall. Next question. 2 virtual hosts run on a stack, and each host runs a virtual machine. Both virtual machines use shared storage. An admin must provide stateful fault tolerance. The enterprise services running on these virtual machines must work on both virtual hosts and continue working if one of the virtual hosts is offline. What cluster setup will provide the functionality the organization requires? An active-active configuration consisting of n nodes. A network administrator wants to set up a load balancing cluster to manage traffic to a web server farm. The load balancer will route traffic based on types of requests coming in from internal users. Design a solution that would provide, at minimum, a failover solution and proper configuration for a load balancing cluster. Select all apply. Okay, create a virtual IP address setup and active passive topology. Congratulations! You successfully mastered this module. Did I? Did I really? I don't know. I feel like it mastered me. That took a while too. Let's see. 57% starting knowledge. All right, guys. So, because we're at that time, I am going to switch over to Certified Ethical Hacker. So I will see you guys after I do this transition. Bye. What's up, guys? We are back at it again. I don't have any white Vans on. I'm actually shoeless. Yeah. All right. So we are doing more cloud computing. Actually, I don't think we actually got this far yesterday. I think we stopped. So, what do you all know about the cloud? Well, we're going to get into it because it just loaded really fast. Cloud computing. So cloud computing is an emerging technology that delivers computing services such as online business applications, online data storage, and webmail over the internet. Cloud implementation enables a distributed workforce, reduces organization expenses, which is why you'll hear a lot of businesses like the cloud because they're trying to reduce cost always. Provides data security, etc. As enterprises are increasingly adopting cloud services, cloud systems have emerged as targets for attackers to gain unauthorized access to the valuable data stored in them. Therefore, it is essential to regularly perform pen testing on cloud systems to monitor their security posture. Now, a big important aspect of this, right, is that because you're using a third-party source to have this information stored on their servers or whatnot, you leave yourself a little bit more vulnerable in the aspect of, that company could data mine your system that you have set up, and they can find more information about you. Also, if they decide to do business with some not so savvy types, an investigation is required, and, well, it just turns out that your data was placed in the same server as data of some seedy types, that means all your data could be taken away by whatever governmental entity wants to look at that information, and it could take years to get that data back through judicial processes. So just kind of some things to take into account. Also, look at how cute Paris is. She's so cute. Mwah. Yeah, she's so cute. All right. Oh, hello. Why am I vibrating right now? So important to think about, like, if you are going to go cloud. What is going on? Return help. Okay, cool beans. So just things to take into consideration. Okay. All right. So it is essential to regularly perform pen testing on cloud systems to monitor their security posture. Security administrators claim that cloud systems are more valuable to denial of service assaults. And that's actually a really good point to bring up too, is the fact that if somebody wants to do a denial of service assault on your server, then you can't even access the information because, well, there's a denial of service attack on it. So, because they involves, it's okay. There's a lot of typos throughout, but we'll get through that. Because they involves numerous individuals or clients, making denial of service assaults potentially very harmful. Because of the high workload on a flooded service, these systems, whoa, I can't read. So we got that going for us. Systems attempt to provide additional computational power, more virtual machines, more service instances to cope with the workload, and they will eventually fail. So that's a really bummer. A big bummer. Although cloud systems try to thwart attackers by providing additional computational power, they inadvertently aid attackers by allowing the most significant possible damage to the availability of a service, a process that starts from a single flooding attack entry point. Thus, attackers need not flood all servers that provide a particular service, but merely flood a single cloud-based address to a service that is unavailable. Thus, adequate security is vital in this context because cloud computing services are based on sharing, right? We talked about this earlier. They're sharing stuff. It's not good. As an ethical hacker and penetration tester, you must have sound knowledge of hacking cloud platforms using various tools and techniques. The labs in this module will provide you with real-time experience in exploiting the underlying vulnerabilities in a target cloud platform using various hacking methods and tools. However, hacking the cloud platform may be illegal depending on the organization's policies and any laws that are in effect. As an ethical or pen tester, you should always acquire proper authorization before performing system hacking. Now, because you say, oh, well, my company has this cloud service, does not mean that it's the company's cloud service. It is probably a third-party vendor. So if you start hacking your company's cloud to see if that's going to be an issue, and it turns out you're actually hacking another company, that's where this legality process comes in. So you want to be careful and make sure if you are going to hack that, you might want to let the third party know, hey, we would like to test the vulnerabilities of our cloud system. Can we do that? You know, is this allowed? Before you just start hacking it, because then you could get in some serious trouble. The objective of the lab is to perform cloud platform hacking and other tests that include, but are not limited to, performing S3 bucket enumeration, exploiting misconfigured S3 buckets, escalating privileges of a target IAM user account by exploiting misconfigurations in a user policy. The way I was always described the bucket concept is we have the cloud, yes, but then we have this little bucket underneath the cloud to catch all the data. And that's why they call it a bucket. Very technical. If it didn't make sense, please by all means sneeze. Oh man, I feel like I'm just like on the cusp of it right now. All right. Cloud computing refers to on-demand delivery of IT capabilities in which IT infrastructure and applications are provided to subscribers as metered services over a network. Cloud services are classified into three categories, namely infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. We actually saw this in a couple of questions yesterday. So super important to know the difference between each of those. I'm sure they will go into this. Not really. All right. Which offer different techniques for developing cloud. So ethical hackers or pen testers use numerous tools and techniques to hack the target cloud platform. Recommended labs that will assist you in learning various cloud platform hacking techniques include perform S3 bucket enumeration using various S3 bucket enumeration tools, enumerate S3 bucket using Lazy's3, enumerate S3 bucket using S3 scanner, exploit S3 buckets, exploit open S3 buckets using AWS CLI, perform privilege escalation to gain higher privileges, escalate IAM user privileges by exploiting misconfigured user policy. Perform S3 bucket enumeration using various S3 bucket enumeration tools. As an ethical hacker, you must try to obtain as much information as possible about the target cloud environment using various enumeration tools. This lab will demonstrate various S3 bucket enumeration tools that can help you in extracting the list of publicly available S3 buckets. Enumerate S3 buckets using Lazy's 3. Enumerate S3 buckets using S3 scanner. Overview of enumeration tools. Enumeration tools are used to collect detailed information about target systems to exploit them. We did a couple labs earlier on enumeration. It's the same idea, just we're doing it in cloud format. So we're trying to get as much information as we can about whatever it is we're going after. Okay, that's all it is. And we're just doing it in the cloud now instead of on a computer. Information collected by S3 enumeration tools consists of a list of misconfigured S3 buckets that are available publicly Attackers can exploit these buckets to gain unauthorized access to them. Moreover, they can modify, delete, and exfiltrate the bucket content. See, that's what we're talking about. The buckets contain content in them. I say data, but they say content. But, you know, tomato, tomato, right? All right, we're going to enumerate S3 buckets using Lazies3. Lazies3 is a Ruby script tool that's used to brute force AWS S3 buckets using different permutations. This tool obtains the publicly accessible S3 buckets. It also allows you to search the S3 buckets for a specific company by entering the company name. So we're going into parent security, putting in a bad password. If you have a password like this, you might want to rethink that. All right, we're going to the make terminal. Open the terminal. Add password. And we got the tilde, which means that we are in the home directory or root directory. Terminal window, we're going to go to cd lazy. Oh, lazies 3. Okay, press enter. Already downloaded Lazies 3 tool in the lab setup, in the Lazies 3 folder type ls. Let's see what we got here. Oh, not that, not LSA. No, stop asking me questions. Just do what I tell you to do. All right, so ls is a list. So we're looking at all the Lazies 3 files listed out here. The folder content is displayed. Here we will run the lazies3.rb. Oh, that guy right there. Script to find the public S3 buckets. So now we're going to type Ruby lazies. Yeah. Free.rb. Hey, we found a bunch of buckets. Look at us go. So a list of public S3 buckets is displayed as shown in the screenshot. We're going to hit Control-Z to stop the script. Okay, Control-Z. You can stop now. It just kept going. Okay, well, you can search the S3 buckets, a specific company to do so. Type Ruby lazies3.rb company and press enter. So we're going to target company name is HackerOne. HackerOne. All right, so we're going to Ruby lazies3.rb hacker one. No such file. Type it wrong. Doggone it. I forgot the S again. Did I really do that? I could have sworn I hit the S. Got it. All right, Ruby lazies3.rb hacker. 9,013 items. Oh my gosh. It'll take some time to obtain a complete list of the available S3 buckets. Okay, this concludes. So we're not going to do that. We're going to hit Control-Z. Holy crud. All right, so enumerate S3 buckets using S3 Scanner. S3 Scanner is a tool that finds the open S3 buckets and dumps their contents. Takes a list of bucket names. I got Paris's hair. I don't know how you do that, dog. Use S3 scanner to enumerate open S3 buckets. Cool. Cool. I don't really need to do that. Maybe there. Jump to root directory. Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, my poor baby. Yes. Oh. Hmm. S3 scanner. So in the clone repository, by default, tools clones over directory. And that's S3 scanner folder type pip3. Pip3 space install tag on requirements .txt. After the successful installation of the dependencies in the terminal window, type Python 3 space dot. All right. Python space dot slash s3 scanner dot py sites dot txt. Here, sites.txt is a text file containing the target website's URL that is scanned for the open S3 buckets. You can edit the sites.txt file to enter the target website URL of your choice. The result appears displaying a list of public S3 buckets as shown in the screenshot. You might encounter the following error: AWS credentials not configured. Yeah, I got that. Ignore the error as we will install and configure the AWS CLI in the next tab. Apart from the aforementioned command, you can use the S3 scanner tool to perform the following functions: dump all open buckets and log both open and closed buckets in found.txt with Python 3. Oh, doggone it. Capitalization. Okay. I think they are not spaced. So, hate that thing. Uh, Can't tell if those have spaces or not. All right, we're going to try and use a different command then. We're going to log open buckets in the default upload file. So Python. No, so that's Python. You so sad. I'm so sad. Exploit S3 buckets. As a professional ethical hacker or pen tester, you must have sound knowledge of enumerating S3 buckets using various techniques. You can exploit misconfigurations in bucket implementation and breach the security mechanism to compromise data privacy. Leaving the S3 bucket session running enables you to modify files such as JavaScript or related code and inject malware into bucket files. Furthermore, finding bucket's location name will help you in testing its security and identifying vulnerabilities in the implementation. Oh, you're so cute. Yes, you're so cute. Oh, just. All right, so exploit open S3 buckets using AWS CLI. S3 buckets are used by customers and end users to store text documents, PDFs, videos, images, etc. To store all these data, to store all this data, the user needs to create a bucket with a unique name. Listed below are several techniques that can be adopted to identify AWS S3 buckets. Inspecting HTML. Analyze the source code of HTML web pages in the background to find URLs to the target S3 buckets. Reinforcing URL. Use burp suite to perform a brute force attack on the target bucket's URL to identify its correct URL. Finding subdomains. Use tools such as find subdomains and rob text to identify subdomains related to the target bucket. Reverse IP search, Internet Protocol search. Use search engines such as Bing to perform reverse Internet Protocol search to identify the domains of the target S3 buckets. Advanced Google hacking. Use advanced Google search operators such as InURL to search for URLs related to target S3 buckets. That's one exploit. Open S3 buckets using AWS CLI. AWS command line interface is a unified tool for managing AWS services. With just one tool to download and configure, you can control multiple AWS services from the command line and automate them through scripts. Before we start this test, you must create your own AWS account. Once the installation is completed, here the AWS CLI is already installed. Ignore the errors if you find any. Now I need to configure AWS CLI to configure terminal window, AWS configure. It will ask for the following details: AWS access key, AWS secret access key, default region name, default output format. To provide these details, you need to log into your AWS account, click Firefox. I got like Paris's hair all over my face. So we're going to go to HTTPS console s Amazon.com. And if you haven't realized, guys, AWS is actually part of Amazon. Amazon Web Services. Look at that. Ooh, I should apply for those. I guess I didn't make it on other ones. Oh, thanks, Tom. Sending me error emails. I don't want to do business with you now. Yeah, take that, Tom. Oh, I should apply for that job. I'll probably do it after I finish here. It's really tough, though, in cybersecurity. So if you don't have a clearance, it's tough to get jobs. My clearance just expired, so I don't have a clearance. So, according to the NCLSC, I don't remember how to exactly term it. DSCA, random acronyms. They say that my clearance only lasts for so long, and because I didn't jump on it prior, because I decided to work with a company that didn't have it for 2 years, I lost my clearance. So, for those of you that are getting out of the military and have a clearance, go to another job that has a clearance immediately, or you are going to have a tougher time getting jobs. And that's just the way it is. If you do not have an AWS account, create one with basic free plan, then proceed with this task. All right, I'm not going to really do all this. But yeah, you do these things, you make an account, you get my security credentials, click access keys, you get secret keys, secret credentials, create new access key button, create access key pop-up appears. Seeing your access key has been successfully created, click the show access key, and then you're going to copy and paste that into your terminal window. Then you go through that, you create the access key pop-up, select the access key displayed, copy it. In the terminal window, right-click your mouse, select paste, and the default region name type EU, type West, type 1. File appears, lead as default. For demonstration purposes, we have created an S3 bucket, name certified hacker 1 in the AWS service. I'm going to use that bucket in this task. Public S3 buckets can be found during the integration phase. Let's list the directories in the certified hacker 1 bucket in the terminal window. Type AWS S3 ls S3 :/ bucket name certified hacker 1 and press enter. Bucket name may be different in your lab environment depending on the bucket you are targeting. So it shows a list. Maximize browser type. In the address bar, put this. This will show you the complete list of directories and files available in the buckets. Minimize browser window, switch to terminal, remove some files. You've been hacked. Okay, they're adding an echo in there. They made a file named hack.txt. Verify whether the files are moved. Switch the browser window, maximize it, reload the page. You can observe the hack.txt file is moved to the certified hacker 1 bucket as shown in this screenshot. Minimize the browser window, switch to terminal. Let us delete the hack.txt file. Terminal window by issuing this command. You successfully deleted hack.txt. Certified hacker 1 bucket. Verify whether the file is deleted. Switch to the browser window. Reload the page. Hack.txt is deleted. Thus, you can add or delete files from open S3 buckets. This concludes the demonstration. Moving on with my life. Okay. Lab 3. Perform privilege escalation to gain higher privileges. Basically, you're just doing it on the cloud. As a professional ethical hacker or pen tester, you must try to escalate privileges by employing a user account, access key, and secret access key obtained using various social engineering techniques. In privilege escalation, you attempt to gain complete access to the target IAM user's account and then try to attain higher level privileges in the AWS environment. In the cloud platform, owing to mistakes in the access allocation system, such as coding errors and design flaws of customer, third party, or an employee, can obtain higher access rights than those that they are authorized to use. These threats arises because of authentication, authorization, and accountability vulnerabilities, user provisioning and deprovisioning vulnerabilities, hypervisor vulnerabilities, unclear roles and responsibilities, misconfiguration, etc. In this lab, we will exploit a misconfigured user permission policy to escalate privileges to the administrator level. Escalate IAM user privilege by exploiting misconfigured user policy. Privileges are security roles assigned to users for specific programs, features, operating systems, function, file, code, etc. to limit access depending on the type of user. Privilege escalation is required when you want to access system resources that you are not authorized to access. It's placed in two forms, vertical and horizontal. Horizontal privilege escalation: an unauthorized user tries to access resources, functions, and other privileges of an authorized user who has similar access permissions. Hence, horizontal, same permissions. Vertical privilege escalation: an unauthorized user tries to access the resources and functions of a user with higher privileges, such as application or site administration. It's administrators. That's why it's vertical. Escalate IAM user privileges by exploiting misconfigured user policy. A policy is an entity that, when attached to an identity or resource, defines its permissions. You can use the AWS Management Protocol, AWS CLI, or AWS API to create customer-managed policies in IAM. Customer-managed policies are standalone policies that you administer in your AWS account. You can then attach the policies to the identities, users, groups, and roles in your AWS account. If the user policies are not configured properly, they can be exploited by attackers to gain full administrator access to the target user's AWS account. In this task, for demonstration purposes, we created an IAM user account with permissions including IAM create policy, IAM attach user policy, IAM list user policies, STS assume role, IAM list roles. This policy can be exploited by attackers to gain administrator level privileges. In paired security machine, launch the terminal. Already there. Hit exit. WQ will work. There we go. we're already in here. Okay, let's go to press figure. Okay, because I didn't make up an access key earlier. Let's see. So on the terminal window, let's go through this part. So because we don't have an access key ID field and enter, similarly in the AWS secret access key file, enter the target IAM user's secret access key and press enter. The AWS access key ID, AWS secret access key of the target user's accounts can be obtained using various social engineering techniques as discussed in Module 9 Social Engineering. In the default region name field, type US East 2 and press enter. In the default output format field, type JSON and then press enter. After configuring the AWS CLI to create, we create a user policy, attach it to the target IAM user account to escalate the privileges. In the terminal window, type vim user policy.json and press enter. The command will create file name user tag policy in the root directory. Command text editor appears, press I and type the script given below. It's an administrator access policy that gives administrator access to the target IAM user. Ignore the dollar symbols in the script. After entering the script given in the previous tab, press the escape button and then type semicolon WQ bang and press enter to save the text document. Oh! I'm almost out of water. I need to get water. Now we will attach the created policy user policy to the target IAM's account. Do so AWS IAM create tech policy, tech policy, tech name user, tech policy, tech design. Policy tech document file, user policy.json, press enter. Your user policy display showing various details such as policy name, policy ID. Look, all that cool stuff. It's been blotted out. In the terminal, we're going to type that stuff. The above command will attach the policy user policy to the target IAM user account. So we do some of that. Now type AWS IAM listed, attach user policy username. Result appears displaying the attached policy name, user policy as shown in the screenshot. Now that you have successfully escalated privileges, they're going to target IAM user account. You can list all the IAM users. Do so. Result appears displaying a list of IAM users. Similarly, you can use various commands to obtain complete information about the AWS environment, such as the list of S3 buckets, user policies, role policies, and group policies, as well as to create a new user list of buckets, AWS bucket name, user policies, list user policies, role policies, group policies, create user. Let's refresh this. How is it incomplete? Ugh. Ugh. While we're waiting on this thing to load, I guess, I did want to bring up with you guys my site. I have a couple links. And one of those links is my Jolly Red Giant merchandise store, where I have merch that you can support me by purchasing. There is also my YouTube channel you can like and subscribe to. I've got all the previous lessons that we've kind of gone through on there. I've got my wife's personal YouTube page where we have adventures and we show you guys what we're doing. Most of it's around Utah area. If I remember correctly, yeah, this is mostly Utah stuff. But yeah, there's that. And also, I've got a donation page here if you want to click there and support the channel. It's appreciated. And yeah, I think that's everything. So hopefully it's loaded by now. Hey, look, it loaded. Let's see. Did all that. Did all that, kind of. I want to make an account for you guys. That ends. Yes, and that. Close window. Okay, got my class. Refresh. It is now complete. Look at that, guys. This is the last lab, cryptography. All right. I'm going to run to the restroom real quick and get some water. I will be back. I'll be back. Crazy. Crazy sauce. All right, guys. So I am probably going to have to leave a little early. My wife wants to celebrate her job that she just got, and I guess we're going to go out and do some stuff. So we're going to look at cryptography right now for a little bit, and then I will probably go in like 12 minutes. So, with the increasing adoption of the internet for business and personal communication, securing sensitive information such as credit card, personal identification numbers, bank account numbers, and private messages is becoming increasingly important and yet more difficult to achieve. Today's information-based organizations extensively use the internet for e-commerce, market research, customer support, and a variety of other activities. Thus, data security is critical to online businesses and privacy of communication. Cryptography and cryptographic systems help in securing data from interception and compromise during online transmissions. Cryptography enables one to secure transactions, communications, and other processes performed in the electronic world, and is additionally used to protect confidential data such as email messages, chat sessions, web transactions, personal data, corporate data, e-commerce applications, etc. As an ethical hacker or penetration tester, you should suggest to your client proper encryption techniques to protect data both in storage and during transmission. The labs in this module demonstrate the use of encryption to protect information systems in organizations. The objective of the lab is to use encryption to conceal data and perform other tasks that include, but is not limited to, generate hashes and checksum files, calculate the encrypted value of the selected file, use encrypting, decrypting techniques, perform file and data encryption, create self-signed certificates, perform email encryption, perform disk encryption, perform cryptanalysis. Overview of cryptography. Cryptography comes from the Greek words kryptos, meaning concealed, hidden, veiled, secret, or mysterious. In graphia, writing, thus cryptography is the art of secret writing. Cryptography is the practice of concealing information by converting plain text, readable format, into ciphertext, unreadable format, using a key or encryption scheme. It is the process of the conversion of data into a scrambled code. What? All right, using a key or encryption scheme, it is a process of conversion data into a scrambled code that is sent across a private or public network. There are two types of cryptography determined by the number of keys employed for encryption and decryption. There's symmetric encryption, secret key, shared key, and private key uses the same key for encryption as it does for decryption. Super important to know that one. Asymmetric encryption is an asymmetric encryption. Public key uses different encryption keys for encryption and decryption. These keys are known as public and private keys. Asymmetric, public, and private. Symmetric, private. So let's see. Lab tasks. Ethical hackers or pen testers use numerous tools and techniques to perform cryptography to protect confidential data. Recommended labs will assist you in the learning various cryptography techniques include encrypt the information using various cryptography tools. Calculate one-way hashes using hash calc. Calculate MD5 hashes using MD5 calculator. Calculate MD5 hashes using hash my files. Perform file and text message encryption using Crypto Forge. Encrypt and decrypt data using PC text encoder. Create a self-signed certificate. Create and use self-signed certificates. Perform email encryption. Perform email encryption using rmail. Perform disk encryption. Perform disk encryption using Veracrypt. Perform disk encryption using BitLocker. Drive encryption. Perform disk encryption using Rojos disk encryption. Perform cryptanalysis using various cryptanalysis tools. Perform cryptanalysis tools using cryptool. Perform cryptanalysis using alpha reader. All right. Encrypt the information using various cryptography tools. As a professional ethical hacker and penetration tester, you should use various cryptography techniques or tools to protect confidential data, such as email, messages, chat sessions, web transactions, personal data, corporate data, e-commerce applications, and many other kinds of communication. Encrypted messages can at times be decrypted by cryptanalysis code breaking, although modern encryption techniques are virtually unbreakable. The labs in this exercise demonstrate how you can use various cryptography tools to encrypt important information in the system. Lab objectives: calculate one-way hashes using hashcalc, calculate MD5 hashes using MD5 calculator, calculate MD5 hashes using hashmyfiles, perform file and text message encryption using CryptoForge, encrypt and decrypt data using BCText encoder. Overview of cryptography tools. System administrators use cryptography tools to encrypt system data within their network to prevent attackers from modifying the data or misusing it in other ways. Cryptography tools can also be used to calculate or decrypt hash functions available in MD4, MD5, secure hash algorithm 1, secure hash algorithm 256, etc. Cryptography tools are used to convert the information present in plain text readable format into ciphertext unreadable format using a key or encryption scheme. The converted data are in the form of a scrambled code that is encrypted and sent across a private or public network. All right. I feel like right now this would be a good time to save, so that way we can go into the calculate one-way hashes using hashcalc on our next session. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Again, if you would, you can follow my Twitch channel, like, subscribe on my YouTube channel, purchase some merch at the store. Like, there are so many ways to support this if you do enjoy this. If you do have any questions, or maybe there's comments, or there's some kind of suggestion, you can put it in here in the suggestion box. But yeah, if you guys want, you can do a lot of things to support this channel if you do like the content. Content will continue to be available on my YouTube. If you feel like you missed something or you want to learn something better, I've got all the recent ones that we've done available for you to check out. And thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys have a great day. Be safe out there. It's a crazy world.